Hello, welcome to Appliance Master Live. I'm Bill, and with me again, over on my left is Kari. Hello, Kari.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of keeping your dryer vented clean. I'm sure that if you've watched our previous videos, you all know that this is one of our favorite topics that we're very passionate about.
And yes, and keeping your dryer venting clean, it all goes back to proper installation. If you have a proper installation, then it's much easier to keep clean. If, in fact, you can, but the problem is people take it for granted, they ignore it, they don't put any credence in having a proper installation, and they just throw it together and plug it in and done, and that's where the problems come in.
Yep.
And the worse installation you have, the more you're going to need to clean it and pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm. So then, I guess, what are some of the main reasons why it's so important to make sure it's properly installed and to keep the venting clean?
All right, well, proper installation starts with the proper materials, right? And if you're not having a good installation or keeping it clean, you're going to have longer dry times. You're going to have shorten the life of your dryer because it's going to wear out parts faster, the internal heat, wasting energy, and of course the big one is you can have a fire, and I guess I don't know if fires are underreported, but there's like I think the last I heard is like 16,000 dryer fires every year in the country. And,
yeah, that number sounds accurate from our conversations.
And there is loss of human life too. I forget what it is, 10 or 15 people die a year, but there's also pets that suffer.
Yeah.
And
I think dryer fires are the number one cause of house fires.
Well, they're near the top, if not the number.
Near the top.
So proper installation starts with reading, and you go to people that do their own. Even professional installers don't use the proper materials, right? And you can go to any big box store and buy dryer venting. Except if people pull off the shelf, they put clamps on it, they throw it in, and they think they're done. But the problem is that this, I don't know if you can read that, is this is not for use in dryer venting. It's like, but it's right next to the dryer vents, and people don't read that, and they just put it on, and they think they're done. It's like, oh, it's aluminum, but it's not really. This is mostly this foil is very thin, and this burns. So you get lint in here, and the fire comes from the dryer through this will burn, and I like to say it's kind of like a fuse. It just leads to your house and burn your house down. The product you should be using, if you need a flexible, the transition duct from the dryer to the house rigid venting, if it is flexible, should be something like this. This is just a much thicker metal. Of course, it's more expensive, and it's heavier gauge, so it's got a much higher flash point before this will burn. So, and anywhere inside, wherever you can, you should use rigid venting, solid rigid venting, and certainly within construction, inside walls, inside drop ceilings, everywhere inside the house should be rigid venting. And your exterior termination vent should be something like this. This is steel, powder coat steel. It should last a lifetime. And one of the great things that we like about it is when you need to clean it, has a 4-inch opening, makes it easier for cleaning, and it's heavy enough that it resists wind blowing it open and animals getting in there. So some of the basics.
Yeah, and I know with every dryer call that we do go on with Appliance Master, the technicians do a dryer vent analysis. They'll go and take a look at the venting, see what the setup is like, and then make any kind of recommendations as far as upgrading the materials to what's recommended.
And a key part of a dryer vent analysis is how fast is the air moving, through your venting. It has to be moving at 8 meters per second, through whatever kind of venting you have to the outdoors. If it's moving slower than that, dust particles, which are pieces of your clothing, settle down. They settle on, because they're not moving fast. They lay to the bottom and the sides, and they start to build up. And so our technicians on that analysis will measure the airspeed, the airflow through your venting.
Yes. And then, what are some warning signs that a customer could keep an eye out for that would indicate that the dryer venting is not properly installed?
Probably most notably, if people do the same laundry time after time. You're used to doing the same kind of laundry over is a slow increase in dryer times, like how dry times. If you're used to 30 minutes and you notice it's 40 minutes, 45, you're building restrictions to the airflow somewhere in your venting. That's the key one. Another number one is like you might see lint in your laundry room. Like there might be lint on top of the washer, on top of the dryer, on the walls. It's like that means the dryer is trying to blow out air, but it can't blow out. It's getting a restriction to this blowing out. So it's coming out of seams and other parts, and that lint is going in your house. That's an indicator. And also, you might feel like it's hotter in the room, or even like if you smell something burning, that could be your belts and rollers in the dryer overheating and wearing out. But that could also lead to another kind of burning, which is serious.
Yeah.
So
And at that point, it's almost too late.
yeah, let's see. People that things we've talked about so far. Can anybody over at home recognize what's wrong with this picture? It's like, not only is this venting ripped, but it's ripped because this is that cheap foil that I just showed in the package that's not meant for dryer venting. So lo and behold, the dryer thing rips and not good. Here's a typical, we see this every day. I mean, that's a little, just, and a 1/2 inch amount of lint around a 4-inch vent here reduces the airflow by 44%. So just a little bit of lint can, one of our techs found a bird's nest in a dryer vent, and an egg.
And that would happen from probably those plastic, the external piece.
Well, there's a variety of reasons, but
With the louvers?
Yeah, like you can see it on the ground here. These cages are no good. These cages, they sell them to prevent animals coming in, but they also prevent the lint from going out, because this lint from your clothes has to get out with the air. And if it's trapped there, it's just going to block up, and there you go. That's not good. Here's a before picture of the same kind of vent. If this are down, jam-packed with lint. These plastic louvered ones they're just trash. They break quickly, they fall apart, and again, see, there's a I don't know if you can't really see it here, but there's an elbow and an elbow. There's two 90s together. You can't do that in a venting system, but people do it all the time. That creates, one of these elbows is 5 feet of restriction, and back to back, it makes it nearly impossible to have a good vent. People do it all the time. This dryer here is caught on fire. I don't know if you can tell, but all this black is burnt lint inside. And they were lucky because it stayed inside the dryer. That could easily went down the venting, into the walls, and burned the house. So,
Yeah, well, that's had a lot of good information there. And then, if anybody wants to set up an appointment for a dryer vent analysis for one of our techs to come over and see what your setup is like, it's only $39. So you can certainly give our office a call. It's 800-752-7123. You can also go to our website, APPLIANCEMASTER.com.
all right, and just remember that installation stays with the house forever. I mean, if your dryer is 3, 4, 5 years old and you don't like it and you bought a new one because you think it was a bad dryer, it's probably because of the venting. You're going to spend another $800 on a good dryer and have that one have way too short of a life because your venting's bad. So we highly recommend you have that looked at. All right?
Well, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.